Say hi to Carrie.
Hi,
Hi,
Carrie.
Carrie.
Hi, Carrie.
So for those of you who don't know, she obviously is in the show. She's a co-producer, right? What else? Co-writer.
Co-writer.
All of it.
All of it.
So Portlandia is pretty funny, but sometimes, my number one thing with the show is when I first saw it, I thought if people have never been to Portland or if they've never lived there, would they be able to get some of the, just some of the jokes and just the whole show in general? What have you found?
We found that people definitely get it outside Portland. That was definitely the question in the first year, and I think that unequivocally people understand it. But then I also started thinking about all the shows that I love, like The Wire. I don't have to have lived in like a gang-addled part of Baltimore to get that show, and I don't have to have gone to space to get Battlestar Galactica. So I think people, even if they don't get the world, I think if you have good characters or interesting stories, there's a way to find.
Do you ever feel like you're gonna run out of things to do there?
No, I think like this season we really wanted to focus on like season-long narrative arcs, and we just thought, well, let's just tell stories. We don't have to just be coming up with concepts. So hopefully not. Hopefully we won't run out.
Who's watched the show before? Okay.
I have. So, hi, I live in Boulder, Colorado, and we're like the Portland of the mountains.
I've been there.
And if you notice, like I have birds on my wall.
Yes, you do.
And I put them on before I actually saw your show, and I thought it was art. And then I saw your show, and I felt really embarrassed.
Oh, don't feel embarrassed. Well, you didn't feel embarrassed. You took them off. You kept them on. So.
No, I kept it on now because it's ironic. It's funny.
So then you tell all these people who haven't seen it yet, and you guys should definitely go check it out because it's very clever writing. What about it captures you? Why do you keep watching it?
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking you.
Oh, because it's like every bit is like I get to make fun of my hometown a little bit more. We have angry bikers, and I don't know.
All right.
You relate to it in that sense. Yeah, Jimmy.
Yeah, what is it like working with Fred Armisen? He is absolutely hilarious. Like when I've seen him on SNL and stuff,
Yeah, he is hilarious, and he's one of the kindest people I know, and also a very hard worker. He's totally obsessive and very creative all the time. I love working with him.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. What's it like shooting around the city? I mean, everyone's pretty friendly there, I know, but have you is there any challenges you've dealt with overall?
I mean, just like weather is probably the biggest challenge, and we work at like a really fast speed. Like we do shoot at over 200 locations in a matter of months.
Wow.
So some days we're at 3 or 4 locations. So it's a really, our crew has to be very nimble and very, like, everyone kind of has to be part of the process. So that's the biggest challenge.
And then you've got a lot of outsiders like coming into Portland to tap into the industry because people do a lot of shooting there nowadays, right? So is that kind of a challenge too? Kind of, you want a location and you have to compete with the other outsiders, or not so much yet?
Yeah, the other shows aren't using the feminist bookstores or as much as we are. Yeah. So we find our own spot.
But yeah, the weather, I can imagine. I know. I mean, obviously.
We only can really shoot in the summers.
Yeah. Carrie, can you talk about your writing process? How do you write? Like, do you focus a lot of time and then write continuously, or you go to inspire location, coffee shop, or how do you create?
Well, there's 4 writers, but it's Fred Armisen and Jonathan Kreisel, our director, and myself are the main writers. And we, because Fred's on SNL, we kind of get together in May and we start. It's just a very like focused writing period where we all bring in different ideas. We put note cards on the wall, and then we kind of just see what ideas have legs and what ideas we can populate with characters, and then we break the ideas down into beats and storylines, and then write scripts. But often the scripts are just outlines. So it's a very collaborative process, and we all take each other's work and add to it. And I take notes and write down things over the year or throughout the year, but we really just focus on writing for about 2 months in spring and summer.
So do you mean, like, if I may have a follow-up, so when you shoot the scene and when you act through the scene, did you change depends on what the back and forth, or do you pretty much go with what's the word on the script?
there's very little dialogue in the script. I would say it's over 95% improvised. So we know the location and we know who the characters are and we know the story. I think for improv, you kind of have to build an infrastructure so you know where to go in a scene and you know what the stakes are. But in terms of the actual dialogue, unless there's a specific joke that someone wrote that's funny, we tend to deviate from it almost immediately.
Pretty cool.
All right, let's do screen grab. She's gotta go. Come on over.
Where do
They
I look?
didn't take a picture. We just like
There, okay.
they did get a picture. Okay, ready?